So our topic for this subject is all about boredom during pandemic. I will ask you some question. This is my sister. Okay. Some people feel that they are having mental problems like anxiety and depression during the pandemic. What do you think is the reason behind it?
In public mental health terms, the main psychological impact to date is elevated rates of stress or anxiety. But as new measures and impact are introduced, especially quarantine and its effects on many people's usual activities, routines or livelihoods, levels of loneliness, depression, harmful alcohol and drug use, and self-harm or suicidal behavior are also expected to see.
So, tama. Kaya itong pandemic na to, maraming mga nade-depress dahil siyempre nawawala ng trabaho, walang income, tsaka kaya naisipan nilang magpatiwakal, ganun. We know that this pandemic has affected our mental health. How do you manage to keep up with a positive mindset?
For me, physical activity and relaxation techniques can be valuable tools to help you remain calm and continue to protect your health during this time.
Okay, tama yun kasi need talaga natin mag-jogging kahit pandemic, basta mag-mask po tayo, mag-face mask po tayo para ligtas. At saka wag kayong masyadong maglalapit sa mga matataong lugar, yun lang. That's my tips. Next question. How do you overcome anxiety and depression?
For me, taking your time out, eating balanced meals, limit your alcohol and caffeine intake, get enough sleep, exercise, meditate, and then just do your best and accept that you cannot control everything. So, make sure that you always have someone to talk to with your anxiety and always maintain a positive attitude.
Para ma-overcome natin yan, kailangan kahit sa through video calls, like Messenger, tsaka sa Instagram, pwede naman natin kausapin mga kaibigan natin, malayo man or malapit lang, para makapag-bonding, ganun. Tell us about the time where you overcome anxiety or helping someone who is suffering from mental health issues.
So, sometimes it will seem obvious when you know someone who's going through a hard time. But there's no simple way of knowing it because sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. So, always check in on your friends and loved ones to see if they're doing fine. And whether they respond or not, at least they know that you care.
Last question. What is your advice on everyone who is suffering from mental health in this pandemic? Ano may papayo mo sa mga nade-depress ganun?
It is normal to feel fearful or anxious during this time. And always remember that you are not alone. We're all in this together. And talking about your feelings with someone that you can trust can really help you. And as well as spending your time with your family and by doing the things you love and will make you relax.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I'm here to interview Isha Amora. First question. Despite the pandemic, do you feel bored just to stay at home?
No.
Question number 2. What made you overcome boredom during the pandemic?
During this pandemic, we all had our difficulties in finding ways on how to get over our boredom. For me, all I did was read a book and talk to some of my friends and do some TikTok, watch Netflix, and ride a bike.
Question number 3. Being quarantined inside your home can be boring, right? Can you tell us why is it so boring to be quarantined inside?
For me, it's really boring to be quarantined inside because we tend to run out of things to do. For me, it's hard because I don't get to see my friends every day and go out with them.
Question number 4. Do you think that everyone can find their hidden talent out of boredom despite staying at home?
Yes, because people can discover their own talents while doing things that they can do. Because they want to discover things that they haven't tried yet. For me, I learned how to ride a bike and I didn't know that I have the skills to edit. I was able to help my dad using my editing skills.
Question number 1. Despite the pandemic, do you feel bored just to stay at home?
In the beginning, yes, I felt bored staying at home because I'm naturally an outgoing person and very active. So I felt boredom in the beginning of pandemic, but eventually changed.
Question number 2. What made you overcome boredom during the pandemic?
Initially, I was filling in my boredom with recreation activities such as boxing and a little exercise from home and some household chores also. I was doing that. And what else? I was decluttering and mostly household chores. That's all.
Question number 4. Do you think that everyone can find their hidden talent out of boredom despite staying at home?
Everyone, I can't say that it is for everyone, but I can say that some people can discover their talent while staying at home. As I said earlier, we tend to run out of things to do inside the house, so it's an opportunity for everyone, I hope, or for some people to discover their own talent and skills. It's a big chance while inside the house or while not doing the usual things that they are doing like studying or working. This is the time, or the lockdown or the quarantine is the chance or the time that people can discover their own talents.
Question number 3. Being quarantined inside your home can be boring, right? Can you tell us why it's so boring to be quarantined inside?
Being inside the house all the time, especially during the lockdown, can be so boring because you run out of things to do. Especially for a person like me who is outgoing and naturally active, it gets me sad and I feel weaker if I do nothing at home.
No. Hindi ako naboboard sa quarantine lockdown kasi marami naman akong source of entertainment, kaya never ako naboboard. At kahit naman lockdown, tayong mga students, meron tayong mga obligation, task, to-do list na kailangan gawin, kaya nagiging busy ka, kaya never bored.
During this pandemic, I also feel bored sometimes, just staying at home, especially if I'm doing nothing or just laying down on my bed, staring at the ceiling. The things that I've done to overcome my boredom during this pandemic is by reading some mangas or watching movies, playing online games, or reading a book, listening to music, and so much more. For some people, just staying at their houses can be boring, especially for those sporty ones who likes physical activities, enjoying views, going to many places, and so much more. To ease my boredom during this pandemic, I listen to music, watch some movies, or watching vlogs, especially the Timpayaman vlogs, because their content makes me so happy and at the same time, it relieves some stress. I do believe that some people might discover or find a new hobby out of boredom despite staying at their houses. It is good because last year up till now was a very stressful event and it takes a lot of toll into our physical and mental health. So that is why it is good if anyone can find their hidden talents or new hobbies during this pandemic to lessen the strain into our physical and mental health. Staying at our houses doesn't mean it stops our imagination from working. So we can surely say that despite staying at home, new talents can be discovered or new hobbies can be found. And what's more awesome is that we can get to know more ourselves even better.
My lifestyle before pandemic is more on outdoors activities such as sports or traveling and even eating assorted kinds of foods that can be seen outside. Probably my plans after this pandemic would be continuing outdoors activities and probably eating more healthier foods, preferably home cooked foods. My advice would be eat more healthier foods, not only meats, but of course, including green foods. Also, self reflecting on the things you want to do after pandemic would help you be more motivated in keep going or achieving your goals. What do you want to do in the future? Meditating is also effective since it boosts your mental and spiritual state in times of pandemic. Yes, especially during this time since we can go outside to do outdoors physical activities such as sports. My lifestyle goals would be to at least reach 60 to 65 kilograms in weight and at least build some good body build. Also, I'm preventing myself from being a picky eater or more like selective eating. Being mentally stable is the most important state that a human can achieve since it is the driving force of what an individual can do. So imagine not being motivated enough to do things. It affects other aspects in your life, such as health, family, or even your environment.
Before pandemic, my lifestyle was simple, but like going to the mall and hanging out with friends. But after the pandemic, everything changes. Like every day, we need to wear face mask wherever we go, and we always sanitize hands and very strict policies. My ad- my advice on us on how to be physically and mentally stable. Well, I can give you some advices here. Just sleep at the right time and always do that makes you happy. Explore something new and talk to your friends and family. Do you tend to work out sometimes? Yes, but I always play computer games or online games. My lifestyle goals this pandemic having 8 hours of sleep every day and having a good physical body by working out or training. Well, it's simple. to avoid depression and anxiety, especially due to people who are always alone.